Welcome back, guys. It is craft time. Let's go ahead and get started. In today's video, we are going to be taking two internet trends, one from last year, which is the thrifted ghost paintings, which I love. I did it last year, but did not film it just for fun, and I had a blast. I love how it turned out. And the second one is new again. It's the exploding canvas or the bursting canvas trend. I know it was popular about 10 years ago because I searched on YouTube and did find an original tutorial back then. I have been seeing it on some of my Facebook groups that I'm a part of. I don't know where it originated from, but I definitely wanted to get my hand in the mix because it looked like so much fun. So I'm going to walk you through how I created mine. It is going to be a Halloween theme. So let's start with canvases. Mine is a 16 by 20 canvas and canvas board. You need a framed canvas or stretched canvas and a canvas board or something for the backing. Canvas board will be the easiest way that you can get the size you need without having to do too much extra work. But there are other options if you just happen to have extra thin wood on hand that you want to cut down or something like that. I am going to be using this one specifically. You have to make sure it does not have a back brace. What I mean by that is there would be a piece of wood that runs down the center of the canvas to give it extra support. You just need to make sure you check the back before you start because that will definitely hinder the appearance and vibe that you're going through because you're going to cut through that canvas, and when you do, you will see that bar instead of whatever image you put in the back. For my backing image, I'm going to be using this beautiful picture that I thrifted and turning it into one of the ghost paintings. So let's start with prepping our canvas. I am using tissue paper. You can also just paint. Tissue paper will go a lot faster for you, but if you want to paint because you can't find a design that you like, that also works too. I am going to be actually using this cute decoupage paper that I found at the Michaels. It was kind of over by clearance, but then they got me and it was not actually on clearance, but it's really cute, so I got it anyway. And I really love the pattern on it, and I love that like bronzy gold that it has in it. So I'm gonna start by Mod Podging this onto the front and over the sides. I lied, I did the back first, so flip that reverse. For the back, I'm just going to be using a white piece of tissue paper. This is just one from my stash of gift bags that I have. I am definitely one of those people. So I'm going to take that and wrinkle it up because I want this to have a lot of texture, and I'm going to Mod Podge that down. I'm just going to start on one side, put down a row of Mod Podge, add that down. I don't care about the wrinkles. I want that texture and wrinkles all in there. So I'm going to just put that down, do another strip, put it down, making sure I'm overlapping a little bit, getting all of those sections. I'm going to do that all the way to the end, and then I'm going to Mod Podge over the entire thing to make sure that it is nice and adhered. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side of the canvas. Now my decoupage paper is not big enough to cover the whole thing in one go, but that is okay. With this pattern that we have going on, I'm able to splice it together without you really noticing. And with where the creases are going to end in the explosion of the canvas, it will kind of hide those creases as well. So just be mindful of that. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to cut away the excess and kind of get it all where I need it to be, keeping in mind that I want mine to wrap over the sides of the canvas so that it hides and looks, good from every direction. So I'm going to put my Mod Podge down. I am going to put the decoupage paper on top and start smoothing it out. Again, I don't really care if there's too many wrinkles in this, but I did not pre-wrinkle this because it is already got all of that design on it. It didn't really need anything extra. So I'm going to Mod Podge it all down, and then again, so you do a light layer of Mod Podge, you do your tissue paper, decoupage paper, napkins, whatever you're using, and then you do a light layer on top as well. So I did that all over the canvas, and then I went down and did my sides. So I again put a layer of the Mod Podge down, folded that decoupage paper over, and then went over top with my brush using that to smooth out the edges, and I let everything dry. After it was dry, I was ready to go ahead and do the edges of the front part of the canvas. I am going to cut away any of the large excess and then use a piece of sandpaper to get all of those edges cleaned up to make it nice and just like sharp edges. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to run my brush underneath the edge and over top of the edge to make sure that it is adhered properly and I do not have to worry about this peeling on someone down the road because everything is sealed in. While that's drying, I am going to start prepping my picture. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this part. I did not think about this until I was actually in motion and I decided to change my mind. Originally, I loved the way the canvas, the back of the canvas looked. I liked how raw it was. I wanted it to look kind of like old, but I went in with my bronze, which, let me look at the actual color. I went in with this, it's aged bronze by Deco Art, and I painted the back of the canvas. So that white tissue paper that I used, it's a great base. So if you want it to be colory, but you want it to have that texture too, I just painted right over top of that, and I went really rough. I didn't go for like a nice smooth like coverage. I wanted it to look aged and just bring that bronze out because I'm going to be using that bronze to frame this thrift picture. So I painted that all up and then set it to the side again, but I did it kind of out of order because I was working on my ghost picture and then decided to do this, and I'm really glad I did. It was just a little too plain with just that white paper because it kind of becomes transparent. So anywho, that's all the prep that we're going to do for our canvas for now. We're going to set it aside and we are going to start in on our background. Now, before I start in on what I did, you can, one, follow the same route and go pick out a picture and do the ghost painting trend. It is so much fun, genuinely, guys. You really get to let your mind be creative and do all of that. But if that's not your skill set or really in your wheelhouse or something you feel comfortable with, you can pick out another piece, like a picture from like a rice paper picture. You can pick out a different type of decoupage. You can cut down maybe like a shopping bag or a gift bag that has an image that you like on it. I thought about doing, you know, other seasons of this busted canvas, and I could use one of my Christmas bags with like Santa on it or something, a snowman, whatever you want, and you're just gonna Mod Podge that to your canvas board. Now you wanna make sure it's in the middle, that it will be in the center whenever you peel that canvas back. But those are just some ideas of other things that you can do. You can also just paint a picture, whatever you want to be back there. For me, again, it's this picture that I thrifted. I love this picture. It's super cute of this little boy, little girl, and their puppy, and I am going to paint this up. I am starting with just kind of sketching out the idea that I have in my head very lightly. That way I can erase and cover the lines with paint as I need to. And I'm gonna make a witch, which is what I did for the little girl. I just drew on a hat and used her already really cute dress and turned her into a little witch's outfit. Once I was done with that, I went ahead and did her boots as well in a like grays and blacks to kind of make it all match. And then for him, I wanted to make him into a ghost, and he has his arm around her, so I wanted to kind of like encapsulate the fabric moving the best I can. So I just went in and painted and shaded and kind of just went with the flow on however I was feeling in the moment. I'm kind of taking you through this quickly because if not, this video will be very long because I did take my time on painting each individual piece. After that, I wanted to go ahead and do the doggy. Now, originally I was gonna drape him as well, but I didn't want him to blend into the little boy. And then I decided to make him a little vampire. So I'm gonna add on a cute little black cape and some little bat, what's it called? A little bat head, good golly, a bat headband. And I'm really happy with that decision. All that's left for me to do now is I'm going to turn that paint can into a pumpkin. So I just did multiple layers of the orange, shaded that pumpkin out, and then I took a little bit of that bronze and I tapped it into the moon just to give it a little more shading and a little bit of that metallic. And I don't think I said it, but at the beginning I framed the mat where it had that like reddish color on it with that bronze color to kind of tie everything in and really update this picture. Now, I'm really sorry about any of the lighting that you see in that video. I did not realize that I had adjusted my light too high, so some parts you can see more of the paint than the picture. That's the gloss on the picture. I promise in real life, the difference is not that big. And I am sorry. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to beat the storm so that you don't hear that in the background. All right, from there we are ready to cut into our canvas, and I will say this is a little nerve-wracking at first. So I'm gonna say start small and then get bigger, whatever you're comfortable with. So once it's completely dry, it'll kind of make it more stiff and easier to cut. I'm gonna start with an X-Acto knife. You can use a box cutter or just any sharp blade that you have. And you're gonna start by doing an X. So very carefully and slowly kind of saw through that canvas and do an X formation. Try to like center it up really nice. And if you start shorter with your cuts, then you can make them longer as you go. That way you don't overextend your canvas. And by that I mean like you don't cut it too long to where you fold it back. All you see is the frame and too much of the background. The whole point is for the thing from behind to peek out. So I'm gonna do this. I did an X and then basically a plus sign over top. And that's what I have seen other people do for their pictures. And they simply just tuck those flaps back and hot glue them down. You can do that and stop there. But as you know, I'm extra and I love to put my spin on things. So I'm gonna take my scissors and cut them down, each down the middle one more time. That's gonna make them a little thinner, a little more malleable, because I want to twist them and then pin them down so it looks like it really exploded open. So I'm just gonna carefully cut those, and I'm just gonna cut them a little longer as I need, making sure that my canvas mat underneath, like you don't see the sides of that. So I'm just going to play around with it until I like it. Center up my board underneath to make sure it is where it is so I can glue down my picture to my backing. So I just hot glued that down. I did a rough measurement with my rulers and I hot glued my picture to that canvas. Then I laid the canvas underneath, or the canvas board underneath the actual canvas, peeled it back, kind of using some masking tape to tape it down to see what it would look like and kind of play to make sure it was big enough and not too wide. And after I was comfortable with that, I made a little deeper cuts. You know, I made those extra cuts. And then I know that I can place my canvas on the canvas board. So you can hot glue this if it's for you. I'm choosing to staple it because I am going to sell this picture and I want to make sure that they do not come apart for whoever might purchase this. So again, you can just hot glue the two together, perfectly okay. I'm going to staple them. So I just waited, I tucked all those flaps back in, turned it upside down, centered the board to it, and put some staples in, tacked them in with a hammer just to make sure it's good. At this point might be also a good time to add a hanger. I did it as an afterthought and I just stapled it like a nice rope to it. It would be a good idea to do this now so that it can still lay flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in. But after that, and it was nice and tacked on and everything's good to go, now it's time to make those bursts. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling it back and twisting it just to give it a little extra element. And I'm just going kind of with the natural curve of the canvas already. You just put just a little dab of hot glue and hold it down, being careful not to burn yourself, and wait till it's dry, and then you're gonna do that all around the canvas. Now I was still playing with this and decided I wouldn't mind to kind of go over the canvas and really give it that 3D look. Again, these are all personal choices. So I'm gonna do that all the way around, and I made mine a little extra because I'm gonna be putting florals in there. So if you're wanting to add something else, another element, make sure you leave yourself a little extra room. If not, you're gonna be covering up your background too much. Once that was done, I did a dry run with some of these gorgeous flowers I picked up from Michaels. Michaels has all of their stuff anywhere from 30 to 70% off right now on, actually it was a lot of the store. Today is, yeah, I went on July 30th, 2024, and got a lot of their fall arrangements on sale, which was my favorite time to go. But these ones kind of have like that dried, rough look kind of going into fall when things are kind of dying off. So I love the feel of that and felt like it went really good with my Halloween vibe. So I just cut them down, stuffed them in, kind of got an arrangement I liked, and then I hot glued everything into place. I love, love, love this project. I would love to know what you guys think. If you enjoy this video and this content and you've made it this far in the video, leave me a pumpkin in the comments and hit that like button. I hope I covered everything. Again, I'm trying to beat these storms, so if not, or there's a part that you need me to clarify, ask me in the comments. I'm happy to respond. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and again, leave me a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern, something fall, maybe a leaf, whatever you feel, and consider subscribing to my channel if you are new here. I'm still at about 90% of people who watch my videos but do not subscribe. So I would love to get more of you to hit that button so you can see what we have going on. I know I've been more sporadic in posting. Watch my past videos, you'll understand why, but we are getting into prime time here of craft world and I am all in. So keep an eye out for future videos. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you had fun with this. We will be doing more so I can show you different ideas. There's so many different ways that you can create these canvases for different seasons, and I mean, honestly, it's endless. I'm so excited. All right, thank you for being here. I'll take you in for a closer look, and I'll see you next time.